Welcome YouTube, Speed Player here with another installment in the tutorial series. So this will be episode number 5, and today we will be covering Mirages, support, Hive ability, recklessness, exhaust, the 3 different types of abilities, triggered, innate, and activated, as well as element proof, and expend, and attacks. So, started with the Mirage locations. So I just have 2 example Mirage locations for you here. The Method Mirage and Lower Single Recall. Now, you may be wondering, how do I know when a location is a Mirage location? Well, it's very simple. At some point on the card, it will say Mirage, and then have a colon, and then have the effect. So for this, it's Mirage. If a creature can move into a space, it might do so. For lures, it's at the beginning of combat, engage creatures in the space with 30 less scan energy, gain 30 energy. Now, the way you use the Mirage effect is, when the card flips up on your location deck, you just do the regular text that is written above the Mirage text. As soon as the battle is over, or the location is going to be put to the bottom of the deck by some other ability, instead you put it on a spot on the battle board. So any spot you choose, as long as it doesn't have an ability saying Mirage, may not be placed here. So let's say I won the battle, this is going to go down. Instead I decide to put it on my spot on the board here, for whatever reason. So that's how Mirages work. Now for support. Support is mainly an overworld ability. And so Groundmower here is a prime example of support because he has it in both his regular ability and his minion ability. So support just means that for each creature adjacent to the creature with support on the battle board, they gain whatever. So for Groundmower, and I'll illustrate how support works for you guys. And so first, Groundmower's regular support is all disciplines 5, and his minion support is energy 5. And so say I'm doing a 3v3, got Groundmower, Fumfo, and Yakis. And so Groundmower is in his spot right now, and then my opponent attacks him, so let's just say Bareth attacks Groundmower. So, and he's using his regular ability. Since there are 2 adjacent overworld creatures next to Groundmower, then you times that by 5, so 2 times 5 is 10, so he would gain 10 to all disciplines. If, say, I play a Deep Dirge, and then his minion ability is active, you would gain 10 energy. And Yakis this is before they invented support all disciplines 5, so it just says Courage 5, Power 5, Wisdom 5, Speed 5. So that's what that means. Alright, now let's do Hive. So Hive ability is a Danian ability. And all Hive means is that, so Hive starts the game turned off. And then to turn it on, you have to have some way of activating it. So Mount Pillar can activate Hive, so when Mount Pillar becomes an active location, activate Hive until the end of turn. Or Macrobon, you sacrifice one of the ninja counters to activate Hive, or deactivate Hive. Now to deactivate Hive, Hive has to be active in order to be deactivated. So at the start of the game, Hive is not deactivated, it is off. If you activate Hive, and then you can deactivate Hive, so turn it off, and then you'll make some other effect. So, but when you have Hive active, then creatures who have Hive will gain the effect. So it'll say Hive, and then a colon, and then whatever. So when Hive is active, Hammer Demon Chaincaller Simulated will gain Fireproof 10. When Hive is active, Orban gains 10 energy for each infected creature your opponent controls. When Hive is active, Hyadrome gains 15 energy, and the opposing engaged creature loses 15 energy. So that's all Hive means. It's pretty a specific Danian effect, you know, because bugs calling on the Hive, as it were. Alright, so now let's go into Recklessness. So Recklessness was mostly an Underworld, all Underworld, except when Warbeast came along, but I'm just going to show you Underworld for now, the Warbeast in another episode. So, Recklessness, let's see here, Bareth Beyond. So, one of Bareth's effects is Recklessness 5, so it just explains it since it's Dawn of Farum. So, when this creature makes an attack, it deals 5 damage to itself. So, it's fairly simple. Depending on the Recklessness number, whenever your creature plays an attack, even if the attack deals no damage, it will still take the Recklessness number. So, every time Bareth plays an attack, he'll deal 5 damage to himself. And now, let's see Magmon engulfed here. So Magmon's ability says the other creatures with fire have Recklessness 5 and Fire 5, so his ability does not affect himself. So if I have Magmon on my team with Bareth, and Bareth gets engaged, then he will have Fire 10 and Recklessness 10. So every attack he plays He will also deal 10 damage to himself, but if it's a fire attack, it will also deal an additional 10 damage. So that's fairly simple. Another thing that is mostly underworld is exhaust. Now exhaust is just the same thing as recklessness, but with your discipline. So let's use Ulu as our first example. If you look at his minion ability here, it says exhaust all disciplines 5. So every time Ulu plays an attack, he loses 5 to his courage number, his power number, his wisdom number, and his speed number. It's fairly simple. Another example of this is Creel. So when underworld creatures you control gain Intimidate power 20, so when they go into battle, their opponent loses 20 power, but every time they play an attack, they lose 5 total disciplines. So if I had Ulu engaged in a battle, and Creel was also on my team, Ulu would gain Intimidate power 20 and Exhaust all disciplines 10, so he would lose 10 to every stat every time he attacked. Okay, so I've shown you those abilities. All the abilities I have just shown you with these guys are innate abilities, which means they're always on. So for every single one of Bareth Beyond's abilities here, Intimidate, Fire 5, Recklessness, they're innate. They are always on, and then they will be activated once he is in battle. Now another type of ability is triggered ability. So you know something is triggered when it says when or whenever. So like Wama Hive Ordinance here. So when a Mandibulor comes into play from a discard, so say you revive a Mandibulor, Wama gains a Mewtwo counter, because the ability is triggered by something. Something activates it, something sparks it. Now an activated ability is something that has a cost, so, and like I showed you with Macrobon. So this is an activated ability because it has a cost of 1 Mewtwo counter. Same with Flipmorph's foes abilities. Do you sacrifice 2 of his Mewtwo counters to dispel an Aurelion Mewtwo, or you sacrifice 1 Mewtwo counter and target creature gains 5 energy. So those are activated abilities. Alright, so I said Hammer Doom has Fireproof 10 for Hive. Now what Element Proof 10, or whatever, Element Proof just means that when, if your creature is Element Proof, when they become engaged with a creature that has said element, they gain the specific amount of energy until the end of turn. So, take Ornithor here. So Element Proof came into the game in Zenith of the Hive. So Ornithor has Waterproof 10. When he becomes engaged with a creature with water, and they have to have it in the beginning of the battle. If they get it later, then that doesn't activate your Element Proof. So he would gain 10 energy until the end of turn. This Torque, he's a really good chieftain, because your creatures gain Element Proof, all element types 10. So in the beginning of the battle, however many element types the opponent has, you times that by 10, and then you gain that amount of energy. So if they have 1 element, you gain 10, if they have 4, you gain 40. That's how that works. Now someone asked me to explain Expend, and so I will do that now. So I'm going to show you one of the most used Expend guys, Olmar Parathorn Racer. So Expend refers to elements. So it's pretty much like Mewtwo counters. You sacrifice or you pay the Mewtwo counter. For Expend, you're paying with your element. So for Olmar, it's Expend Fire, deal 10 damage to your creature. So you can do this anytime, except for, alright, so I'll explain this regular ability first. So I can just get rid of Olmar's Fire, and then do the effect. So if I get rid of his Fire, and you don't have to do anything special for it, you just say, I will expend, and then you get rid of their element, and they do the effect. Now, it's kind of like, it restores itself every turn. Or if you give them that element back, then that will get them back. But so say, it's my location, I play Olmar's expend ability, and then the battle's over, and location goes down. For the next turn, he will have his Fire returned to him. Alright, so you don't lose it for the whole game, it's just for the one turn. And so here's another example of that. Tap Field Kothic Hunter, expand to Earth, discard an attack card. If you do return an attack card, build cost less than or equal to the discard card to your hand. So don't really worry about what it means, just that if you expend his Earth, so if you get rid of his Earth for the one turn, then you get the effect. And now the Fire and Stone, I have a couple, so Riggin here, he's a pre-release Fire and Stone, and so his ability is expend Earth while engaged. So you have to be engaged with him, and then you expend his Earth, and then the active player reveals a new active location. So if it was my location, and I didn't like it, I could get rid of his Earth, and then get a different location. So that's what that means. If anything is unclear about that, just post a comment, but it's not really that confusing. Alright, so lastly we have attacks. So I'm going to cover the discipline parts of attacks, so stat checks, stat fails, and challenges. So we'll start with stat checks. So I have here 3 stat check attacks. Now a stat check just means that when an attack says stat check, a discipline, whatever, if you have that number, the stated number or more in that discipline, you get the effect. So tactical aggressive speed for our first example has 3 stat checks. So stat check speed 30, deal 5. Stat check speed 50, deal 5. Stat check speed 70, deal 5. So if my creature had 75 speed, he would win this stat check for 5 damage, this stat check for 5 damage, and this stat check for 5 damage for a total of 15 with the stat checks. Another example is directed bravery, 5 base damage, so everybody can deal that damage. If my creature has more than 60 or more courage, they will deal 10 damage with this attack, so making it 15. If they have 60 or more wisdom, they will deal an additional 10 damage with this attack, making it 25. And then lastly, Magma Hack. Stat check, power 100, deal 15 damage. So 100 more power, you get the 15 damage. Fairly straightforward. Challenges are a bit more confusing. So challenges, you are comparing the two sets of stats on engaged creatures. So for example, let's start with the smaller ones. These are the first types of challenge attacks, quick exit and flash warp. There's also the lost trap and shadow strike. So what a challenge means is, so let's, for example, challenge wisdom 15, deal 10 damage. And here I'll use 2 of my creatures to illustrate this. Let's go with Magmon Engulfed and Gromor. So Gromor is in a battle with Magmon Engulfed, and their stats are just their scan stats. So Gromor has 70 wisdom and Magmon has 15. If my Gromor plays this quick exit, challenge means that my creature's wisdom has to be 15 or at least 15. My creature has to have at least 15 more wisdom than the opposing engaged creature and to get the challenge. So Gromor has 55 more wisdom than Magmon, so he will get this challenge, so he will deal the damage, okay? But inversely, if Magmon were to play a Flash Whoop, Magmon has 85 power, Gromor has 40, so in challenge power 15, my Magmon wins this power challenge easily because he has 45 more power, so he will deal the damage. Now, if we take a look at Mind Razor, so this has 3 types of challenges. So challenge wisdom 5, deal 10. So let's say Gromor plays this. Actually, no. Let's say for some reason I have this in my deck with Magmon, and my Magmon plays this now. Challenge wisdom 5, deal 10 damage. Let's see. I don't have 5 more wisdom, so I don't get that. Challenge wisdom 30, deal 10 damage. I don't have 30 more wisdom than Gromor, so I don't get that. Challenge wisdom 50, deal 10 damage. I don't have 50 or more wisdom than Gromor, so I don't get that. But if Gromor were to play this, then he would get each one of these things because he has 55 more wisdom. So if you just look at the biggest number, and if you have that or more than the opposing engaged creature, then all of them are going to go through. And now the last type of discipline-related thing, and also the least used, is stat fails. So here, so we got 3 examples here. And so stat fail was introduced in Beyond the Doors, and I'll just read you what it says on the example card. To win a stat fail, the opposing engaged creature's discipline must be less than the stated number. So let's take a different look here. Let's go with, I don't know, Macrobon and Taffio. Alrighty, so stat fail. Alright, so let's see here. My Macrobon plays a Gravity Slam, and so we check Taffio's power since it's a power attack. So he has 15 power. So stat fail 100, his power is less than 100, so that's 5 damage. Stat fail power 50, his power is less than 50, so that's an additional 10 for 50, so that's total 15. Stat fail power 5, he has 15 power, so we don't get that. So we don't get the 15 damage there, so it's only the first 2, so it is a total of 15 damage. Let's say Taffio plays a Deceleration, so we check Macrobon stats. Stat fail speed 100, he has 35, so that's 5 damage. Stat fail speed 50, he has 30 again, so he fails that one too, so that's an additional 10 damage, or 15. Stat fail speed 5, he passes that one, so we don't get that damage, so it's only 15 damage. And then a super rare for stat fails is mindful finish. So mindful finish says stat fail, courage, power, wisdom, and speed 20, deal 25. So basically, if all their stats are what is it? Must be less than a saved number. So for this, all the opposing engaged feature's stats would have to be 15 or less, and then we would get the 25 damage. But this is very hard to do, so it's not really worth the super. But anyways, I hope I've illustrated that clearly enough for you guys. I think I've covered everything I wanted to for this week's episode. So I hope everyone enjoyed. If you have any more questions on what you would like me to cover, please don't be afraid to leave me a comment right here down below in the comment section. What else? If you're subscribed to me, I'd just like to thank you for being subscribed for as long as you have. I wouldn't be able to really do these videos without you guys. And if you are not subscribed, please, if you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you like my videos that I'm making and you like my channel, click that subscribe button. I do this for you guys. I will be doing a match with 88 Go soon, so I hope to have a match for you of that up within the next day or so. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.